Good evening. Welcome to the seventh episode of Health and Hygiene series brought to you by Crowd Product, the new age technology partners in customer engagement. Good evening, Commodore Ramasastri. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. Mm,
Thank
Today,
you.
yes, sir. Today, the topic is how housing societies, that is the resident welfare associations across cities, have been managing in this COVID situation. Various issues like social distancing, like managing the essentials like milk, groceries, and also ensuring there is sufficient containment in case of an unfortunate infection in the society, and also ensuring the general wellness of people. Being isolated at homes can be a little stressful. So we have speakers from different cities. Due to a technical glitch, the other two speakers are not yet been able to join. They'll join us any moment now. So right now, let's welcome Commodore Ramasastri, and he is the secretary of one of the oldest and the most beautiful gated community in Bangalore, Jalwai Vihar. And Commodore Shastri is a retired naval officer, a mechanical engineer, and has worked in post-his services. He has worked in multinational companies like Sun Microsystem, McAfee. Currently, he's a freelance coach. And over to you, Commodore.
Thank you, Mr. Natarajan. It's a pleasure to be here. Uh, in fact, I have these last 6 months from March till now. The experience has been experience of a lifetime, perhaps for everybody. And I have quite a few things to say about how we are managing. So let me know what questions you have and how do you want me to go about it.
Sir, rather than a question answer session, I would keep it as a free flow, a share of ideas, and exchange of ideas and good practices. Uh, I would take a small pause here. I would welcome Devaki and Shadab. Thanks for joining, Devaki. Thanks for joining, Shadab. Devaki,
Thank you. Thank
you're
you for letting me here.
yeah,
Nice to be with all of you.
Mhm.
you're most welcome. Devaki, you are the resident, the secretary of the RW in Raheja, Bangalore, right?
That's right. So I
Yes.
am not the secretary, but I take
Okay.
care of lot of initiatives. We call something called as new initiatives. So I
Very
take
good.
care of the new initiatives in my society.
Very good. And to introduce you to the other panelists as well as the audience, you are a marketing consultant and you mentor startups on marketing and customer engagement.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
And let me
Yes.
introduce Shadab, the kid of the of amongst the panelists. He's a management graduate, and he is working in the insurance sector, a multinational insurance sector in Mumbai. He is the chairman of the Resident Welfare Association of Palava Lakeshore City in Mumbai, and it's a large township. And recently, we have taken over from the builders and formed the welfare association. And Shadab heads the welfare association, the energetic and young member of the team. So, welcome to three of you. And sir,
Thank
coming
you.
back to you, I would say share your experiences and let us keep it interactive. Devaki and Shadab, wherever you feel you would like to, exchange ideas
Sure.
and
Sure.
pitch in,
Sure.
feel free.
We'll
Sir,
do that.
please.
Uh, right. A couple of sentences about Chelwai Vihar.
Yes,
Chelwai Vihar was started in 1990. We have around 540 houses, and it was started for the welfare of the veterans, the Navy and the Air Force veterans. Now, at the moment, many houses have changed hands. We have a mix of tenants, owners. We have around 200 tenants and rest owners. And quite a few, almost 200 houses, are owned by those who are not veterans. And we also have a colony with about, I would say, more than 50% senior citizens. In fact, senior citizens love this colony. A lot of them, the kids have bought houses for them, they stay here. We have a commercial complex. We are self-contained. We have shops. We have a post office. We have a ATM, and of course, we have playgrounds, parks, and anything that you need is here in Jalwai Vihar. So this is about Jalwai Vihar, and I'll come to the problems later. What we have, see, because of the senior citizens, right? So they're not also very tech savvy.
Hmm.
Even though we use technology, we use MyGate
Yes,
for
sir.
managing entry into Jalwai Vihar, but then I have a population, so half of them who don't know how to use that. And in addition to that, I have people who need help for their daily, you know, domestic help, and they need medical, I would say, the assistance, right? So, but we also are fortunate to have MI room, many doctors in the society. And I would say till today, we have managed splendidly with the cooperation of our residents. So the first point I want to make is it's a combined effort. So residents have formed voluntary groups, and then we have a medical health group. And as the secretary of the association, I liaise with the corporation, the health authorities, and then take measures for enforcing whatever norms we have to enforce according to the protocols to ensure that hygiene is met.
Yes,
So this is introduction to my colony,
yes.
right?
Sir, you mentioned that you have challenges in terms of participation from the residents because of the age group and the seniority and other existing conditions in terms of their health condition as well as technology usage. So, how is that you share information amongst all the residents to ensure isolation, ensure wearing of the masks, social distancing, and these things? Because communication earlier can be done door to door, but today even that is risky.
Right. So that's why we have formed voluntary groups.
That's
So
very good.
among residents, now there is one group which is known as the medical help group. So in that, there are about 20 volunteers, right from every age group. I mean, of course,
Okay.
majority of them are senior citizens, but they're so good at this.
Okay.
They're the ones who generally they tell everybody about what is an oximeter. They
Okay.
small groups, we organize sessions with ensuring physical distancing, and we tell them what's an oximeter, so why you should not use a conventional thermometer these days, and you should not borrow thermometer from others. You need to have an infrared thermometer. So the importance of mask, of course, one thing is most of the veterans, right, who are senior citizens, they are very well uh, disciplined.
Yes.
If you tell them something, right, they follow it. If you say that you need to wear a mask when you step out, they always wear a mask when they step out. If you tell
Very
them you need to maintain physical distance, they maintain physical distance. That's an advantage we have.
very
And in terms of, we have a group of ladies who have volunteered, and there is a telegram group. This is for the younger generation, younger members.
yes.
So
Yes.
every information is imparted through that.
Okay. Very good. Devik, would you like to share some of your
Sure, sure.
experiences?
So, absolutely. So, Raheja residency in Bangalore in Koramangala, we are approximately 800 plus flats here. And we have around 7 buildings totally. In total, we have, sorry, 8 buildings. And what we have done, we have an apex body in each and every building. So we have, what we have done is we have consolidated a lot of groups which we actually started 6 months ago. We had an essentials committee. We had, a committee which will talk to the BESCOM for the electricity. There is any problem. We have a committee which will look after the water supply, whether the water supply is coming properly, everything. Then we have a committee wherein in the essentials committee we have grocery. We have a store down inside Raheja. So around 5 to 6 people were absolutely standing there at times when there was no shortage of manpower. People were not coming on work, but we had to help the senior citizens because senior citizens are everywhere. So how do we do that? So residents, they started volunteering. They started taking the list from other residents and going and collecting vegetables, groceries, everything for them, and procuring it for them and handing it over to them. So these times probably got us all together, saying that when we have learned one thing in school, right? A friend in need is a friend indeed. So
Yes,
I think that is something which we showcased, all of us together in this scenario. Actually, Corona made us go back and remember the proverbs which we have learned in the school, and we actually went down that and we actually did that. And trust me, it gives you so much of satisfaction that you have been of help to somebody. That is, I think, that is one of the best thing which we did. MyGate, of course, was has been a great boon because it helped us in segregating the people coming inside the community, whether that particular person is really necessary to be coming inside. Do we really take that risk to getting that person inside? So certain times even the couriers were kept at the counter in the main gate, and we did a quick we fabricated one small box kind of a thing, wherein one security guard used to be stationed inside there, and the entire courier was kept there, sanitized properly, and then sent to all the blocks. So we
oh,
we
very
did all those things because that was required. That was definitely required. And surprisingly, in the last 6 months, we have still not crossed 50 on the positive cases in Raheja,
very good,
which is
very good.
which is a very good number if you look at it.
Yes,
Because and everybody followed the rules. That was something which was remarkable. The majority cases which we got were people traveling from outside Bangalore. It was not internal, people who got, and all of them were asymptomatic. So majority of them, so there was no hospitalization as such.
okay.
People recovered in a week's time or so. But yes, a great effort by all the residents coming together and joining hands together and helping each other out. So
Yes,
that is something which we saw in Raheja for sure.
yes, yes, that's true. Shadab, would you like to share your thoughts and your experiences?
Sure. Uh, Thanks, Devika ji and Mr. Rama Sastri for enlightening us on the topics that you spoke about. We, as Mr. Natarajan sir already discussed, that we have recently got the possession, like the handover from the society, from the builder. So the thing is, we are in the process of implementing Migate across our society. So I live in Palava. Palava is India's fastest growing city. We cannot call it a
Right.
society. It is a city in itself. So currently, Palava is planning to accommodate more than 20,000 families. So it's, you can understand what the how the crowd is, and uh, with such a such a large crowd, that definitely we experience a few difficulties, and there are advantages to it too.
True, very true.
So currently I'm the chairman for a society where we have 922 flats. Okay, so we have always been hearing this time and again that social media help us to get closer. Social media has brought us closer, but in this time of COVID, it has helped us to uh,
Very good.
maintain social distancing as well. So the best part of living in Palava, we do not have to go out of Palava for anything. It could be essentials or non-essentials. We have all the facilities that one can imagine. We have hospitals, we have schools, we have malls, we have cinema theaters. All those things are within the society itself. So there is no need for us to go out. So that is the best thing about Palava. Apart from that, if we consider the COVID situation right now, WhatsApp and Telegram group, as rightly said by Mr. Ramasastri, we have been using it tremendously. We have been using these platforms to procure essentials like vegetables, milk, and all those things, so that minimum contact of people. When we have these things delivered at our doorstep, there is no reason that one should step out of the house or
Correct.
even society to get these things. So that is the best part, I would say. And as Devika mentioned, that we have very less count of positive COVID cases in Raheja. Similarly, if we see the ratio of people residing in Palava, the positive ratio, the COVID positive ratio is way too less. So that's a great achievement for us. Again, this is not the end. We still have to, be strong and fight against the coronavirus, because the lockdown may end, but the virus is not going too soon. We are yet to fight with these diseases. We have to be extra cautious. Some basic things that we follow are, we have a sanitizer stand at our doorstep on every building. So that helps us to ensure that at least a first check is completed when it comes to basic hygiene. So every person who is entering the premises, he is sanitizing his hands. There are other measures taken, like if a COVID positive case is identified in one of the building, we get it quarantined for 7 days at least. And uh, the housekeeping staff and the staff who helps us to get the essentials, they are very much cooperative, like other colonies. And we are trying to keep the risk as low as possible. So yeah,
Yeah.
basically, that's the best that we could do.
Yes.
So
Correct. I think more or less all of us are doing similar things in order to
Right.
sanitization, in order to keeping our surroundings clean,
right.
especially telling the younger children, how to maintain, because that is probably the most difficult thing. Children in the
Right.
age group of 3.5 or 4 to 10, they are more interested in being on the ground and playing. They are
No,
Actually, I
also
was going to ask that question
yeah.
as
in
to
fact,
how are we
my daughter
managing
don't
that?
let me in. My daughter don't let me in unless I sanitize my hand. So that is
Yeah.
that is
Right.
how
Yeah, and
awareness is
and
important.
another, the best thing is they definitely like that chocolate which falls on the ground to go in their mouth, right? Because that is extra tasty. So,
Right.
they still do that. But yeah, I mean, of course, it's definitely not suggested. But now I think I have seen a change in the mothers that they will immediately look at it. They will not trust the maid who's taking care of the child, and
Yes,
that is probably a better thing which has happened, that the mother
Right.
very true.
steps out along with the child, if
Now with
she is going, if the child is wanting to go down. But more or less, I think this is again a very positive attribute for the smaller kids or the smaller generation or the youngest generation, that they will start becoming responsible a little sooner. If
Very
not,
true.
they would not, like when I was growing up, trust me, I did not it I was it was so carefree. Everything was like, okay, great. Matlab, I used to come home, put my bag and rush to the ground to play my basketball. Now kids will have to think twice whether this is the right, you know do I have to really go? Is this the right climate? Should I go? Should I not go? What are the repercussions going to be? So yeah, I mean, I think times are changing. They're making the children more responsible, and they are also making the senior citizens also responsible, because certain times, we have seen a lot of rigidity sometimes from the senior citizen, that no, I will not do this, no, I will not use this toothpaste, I will use the other one. So we had to literally go through that. But yeah, that was also an experience, and I think all of us have probably accustomed to the new normal.
Yeah,
with
that's true.
COVID.
The new normal.
So,
That's a new normal.
yeah,
Very true.
See,
Now, talking
one
about
thing,
children and yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
yeah, one thing very important is your liaison with BBMP. I mean, that's the
yes,
health authorities.
yes,
So
Yes.
what we
yes.
did now, like you were talking about children, you
Hmm,
know that. I mean, we have a playground, we have a couple of children's park, right?
Yes.
So we never closed it. So
okay,
because we knew that the children needed it. So all
correct.
that we did was, with the help of BBMP authorities, we got it periodically sanitized.
Very good.
We allowed the
Excellent.
children to play. So,
Hmm,
but we made them into small groups and
hmm.
gave them different timings.
Different timings. Yeah, same thing we
Right.
did here as well. But we did
Right.
shut our swimming pool. That
Yeah.
was
That's
shut
we
because
did.
for extreme hygiene reasons, we shut the swimming pool. But
Right.
rest of the things were open, and but of course, as you rightly said, Mr. Sastri, that we did give them timings.
Right.
Because there used to be age groups, and we gave them timings so that everybody gets a chance to play. So
Right.
Very
that was something which we maintained, and we also kept our senior citizens room open, because
Right.
that is a
yes.
room with carom board and cards, playing cards. So
Right.
if there are 10 people playing every day, now we again restricted that on the timings with approximately 3 to 5 people playing together. So they used to
Right.
complain that our group is not there, it's so boring. So
Hmm.
we used to say,
But
okay, it's better to not better than not having anything, right?
Yes.
So
Very true.
right.
something
Very
is
true.
better than nothing.
Right.
So
So
yeah,
that
so
was my
it was
concern because the
correct.
middle-aged group, our office goers, are working from home. It is the
Hmm,
children and the elderly who are
hmm.
Right.
emotionally also affected. Like the only outlet for these two age group is interacting with their friends. Like
Right.
even
Right,
for the
right.
elderly, going for a
Right.
walk
Even for the
in a
elderly.
day
Yes, you're right.
is an
Absolutely.
event by itself because that
Correct.
cheers them up for the day. They have met their friends, they have interacted, and then they come
Yes,
back.
that
But
that is their
because of
moral
the
boasting,
system,
no?
yes,
That
yes,
boosts them. That is their tonic, everyday tonic
yes,
kind of
and
a
now
thing.
with
It's
the
Yeah.
TV
absolutely
channels
essential.
also, yes.
Yeah.
So I was going to
Another
ask that how
another
is
good
that
thing
being
which we
addressed?
did was, for the first 21 days, that is from 22nd March
March.
till the first lockdown which got over, we had our security guards staying inside the community only. We did
Okay,
not
Right.
send them out because we were not very keen on them going out and coming back again, because
okay,
we felt that maybe they might come with an infection inside,
yes,
because if they go and stay in their respective houses, there is a big possibility that this might happen. So you will not believe, but all the residents, many residents came forward, and all of us used to give them morning, afternoon, evening snacks and tea,
Right.
lunch, dinner,
very good.
everything was supplied by the community itself, by the residents itself. So
Right.
everybody took, if there are 50 security guards, so every family took, they adopted two security guards per day. So likewise,
Very good.
everybody actually helped them in giving them basic food and details. But it was a great combination of humanity and uh, humanity, yes, because people came forward to help each other. That was something which was very great to see.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Another issue which I would like to understand is how have we handled issues like the domestic help? Like initial few days, we didn't have domestic help at all. It
Right.
was
Right.
okay
Correct.
for people of certain age groups to manage because they could do it with their regular work duties as well as home duties.
Correct.
But for certain
So
age group, it was difficult, like people with
it was difficult.
infants
So
or
in
elderly
Raheja,
people.
what we did was, we after the 14th day, we allowed the maids for the senior citizens to come and do their work and then go back home. They were
Okay,
not allowed in any other household, only senior
okay,
citizens. And say for example, if there is a pregnant lady, or if there is a patient, if there is a
yes,
woman, like we had a case wherein this lady of the house had a major accident and she was bedridden for
mm,
approximately 3 weeks. She had a plaster on her She had a surgery,
Right.
so she had a
Okay.
plaster on her leg. She couldn't move. So who will take care of the basic things? So we allowed the maid at her house. We allowed the maids at senior citizens' house. But I still today I don't have anybody. I have been paying my lady who comes to for jhadu pocha bartan, but I have still not called her because her safety is also important. You
Important.
know, the
Exactly.
place where
Right.
she is going to come from, that is also very important for me, and she has been working with me for 15 years, so it is my prime responsibility to take care of her in this situation as well. So
Right.
she, in fact, she was very kind. She said, Didi, please don't pay me. I said, that's okay. That's fine. You can sit at home and take, and that's fine. She has been with me, right?
Right.
So
Good, good.
we
Very
normally
How has
get the
it been in
PF.
How has it been
They
in
don't, right?
Jalbai Vihar?
Right. What we did was in the initial days, we have people who are 90, 87. There are couples, there is a couple 93 years and
Yes.
87 years. For such people, we persuaded them to keep the maids within the house, within
Okay.
the colony during the lockdown so that they could
Yes.
help them. And for others, right, the younger ones, right, so they of course gave up their mates voluntarily. A whole lot of mates were not allowed. And in addition to that, what's happened is a lot of people have switched to technology. I
Okay.
mean, people in my age group, suddenly you find that they have bought something like a robo which cleans and swaps and all
Ah,
that stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
In fact,
Okay.
we didn't have like me and wife. I'm 70,
Yes.
senior citizen, right? We didn't have maid for a long time. So I found that my youth was coming back by
Very good.
doing jadu pocha and bartan and
No,
everything. I was
trust me,
getting
doing this is not very difficult actually. When you get into
absolutely
it, you feel like that. It's not too difficult. It's just
right.
that we can't give time to that, That's how it is.
Yes.
It looks
Absolutely.
like. Yeah.
So
so for
only
me,
at a later stage, what we did was we allowed all the maids to come in, and
Hmm.
we also have a classification, for those who have medical needs,
Yes.
Correct.
who need helpers to
Hmm.
manage. So we have classified them as medical workers, and we have always allowed them. We check them at the gate, and we allow them. And
Right.
yeah, in general, we have advised people if you can voluntarily give up your
That is
domestic help,
better.
yeah,
Yeah.
please do that. And we've also told them pay them so that during these tough times they can
Correct.
manage. And a lot of
Correct.
people
Correct.
have followed that.
Very good.
Right.
How has it been in Palava, Shadab? Would you like to
so
share?
as discussed, this is quite a new colony that we are setting up. We did not have any specific measures to control the domestic help. There were definitely instances where we have, asked, we have created an awareness of not calling the domestic help, at least during the initial stages of COVID, where the COVID was on a boom. In those cases, the Palava City Management Association, the governing body there, they had restricted any kind of domestic help and any kind of outsiders to enter the colony, enter the premises for the safety of all the residents. However, with time, as nowadays not only about the elderly residents, even the new the young residents, they usually tend to work, like even the how
Yes.
we see there are very less number of housewives. Now we have people working, like it could be male
Yes.
or female, both work. It's very common
Yes.
now. So
True.
myself and my wife, we both work, we have two children. So domestic help is definitely something that we needed. However,
Correct.
keeping in mind the instructions from the government, we did not allow the domestic help during the initial stages. But when the the
Unlock has
Things
been.
cases got
opened
unlock
after the
happened,
lockdown opened. Hmm.
it was at that time we called our domestic help person, and she was there to help us. Definitely stopping their wages were, like, I got to know few people stop their wages, which I thought was very unkind to do with those people, because even though they do not have any other source of income. we have our
Correct.
savings and all those, but these people, they work hand to mouth, so they don't have any savings. So you have to be kind enough to, take care of these people as well. So yeah, but now we have domestic help coming to our place, and again with all the security and safety measures, we are utilizing the domestic help in Palawan.
That's good. That's very good. So we have spoken right now till what are the precautions, what are the measures which we have taken to help contain the infection. Uh, Unfortunately, all the RWAs have had the experience of some positive cases, infections happening in the colonies. Like, how has that been handled? Here, my question would be in two aspects. One would be how the containment of that patient and his or her family is, and the second part is how are his emotional needs also met, because a lot of people around us have been treating COVID infection with a lot of negativity. People are ashamed to
True.
say that they are infected, so there is a stigma attached. So we all know that it is not so. So people who have been infected undergo a little bit of emotional trauma also, and we as a community have a lot of people have stepped forward and helped them emotionally also. I would like to know, and I would like to share these experiences, like two aspects of an infection: how do we contain it to that respective apartment, and how do we handle their emotional needs.
Right. In Jalwai Vihar, till date, we have had 8 cases.
Oh, that's good. Out of
In
500 families.
Yes, out of 540 houses, in 4 houses, 8 positive cases. So, right in the beginning, what we did was we constituted a volunteer group. This voluntary group basically consists of a whole lot of housewives and doctors, psychologists. There are about 30 odd people who have formed this group.
Very good.
So everything was, the responsibilities were divided. Now, containment, right? Contact tracing, the liaison with BBMP authorities, etc. was, they were my job.
Yes.
And supplying the emotional support, talking to them, it was the job of the volunteers.
Very
And
good.
I would say they did it splendidly. And MyGate helped us a lot. As secretary, I would just sit with MyGate, see who were the domestic help who were they working in other houses, the addresses. I would liaise with BBMP authorities, get it sprayed, get them tested, get the BBMP team for medical checkup. Right, that was my job. But I would say volunteers supplied food, they supplied, they would ring them up, the doctors would ring them up, reassure them, and talk to them. So I today I'm proud to say that today we don't have a single house under quarantine.
Wow.
That's very good. I think we lost his connectivity. Yeah. Deviki, would you like to share your experiences?
Sure, sure. So what we did was similar to what Mr. Ram Sastry said regarding they had made groups out of people to take care of the quarantine houses. One major thing which happened here was we all the doctors came together in the
Okay.
society, and
Okay.
they came forward and they said, "Okay, we will give a call inquiring about their health to to COVID patients," and they used to give them a call every second day to figure out how the health is, how their mental health is also, would,
Very
if
good.
they want something to read, if they want the doctor sometimes to visit them, or just doctor can always wear a PPE kit and visit the
Yes.
family.
Yes.
So these were the things which they volunteered, and that is how we took care of the quarantine houses and the patients as well. Out
Very
of, I think, 26 cases in Raheja, I think only one got hospitalized on a safer side, because that auntie did not have anybody to take care of her. Her kids, her one kid had got stuck in the US and he couldn't come back. And I think she has only one son. So on the
Okay.
safer side, her brother, he shifted her to the hospital. But she was absolutely fine. After 7 days, she came back home.
Very good.
So that way the society, the doctors, everybody were together. Especially we have, luckily we have around three doctors from Nimhans
Okay. Who
who
stay
were,
in Resident.
yeah. So there was a lot of psychological help also, which was getting provided uh, to the patients.
Correct. I would like to pause here and inform that the recording of this webinar will be available for 10 days on the
Sure.
link which we have provided. So in
Hmm.
case any of your associates, friends, or residents have missed this out to watch it live, you can share it with them and they can watch it
Sure.
through in the next 10
Definitely.
days. Then questions can also be posted on this link. It will be part of the link where people
Hmm.
can post questions and ask so that it can be addressed.
Sure.
The basic idea is to share good practices. So in case anything can be
Absolutely.
shared, we can definitely do that. I think
Sure.
we lost Shadab, but then I would chip in on his behalf because we stay in the same place.
Okay.
Here, the protocol for infection has been a little stringent. In fact, in Mumbai and Greater Mumbai, the protocol for infection has been stringent in terms of home isolation is not sufficient. Uh, we have to take the patients, the infected persons, to the government detention centers or isolation centers, so that because the number of cases in Mumbai has been very high, so
Hmm.
the moment an infection is detected, we inform the BBR, the corporation authorities, the health authorities. They send in their team who not only take the patients with sufficient precautions, but also uh, disinfect the entire building. So the building is sanitized, the flat is sanitized, and they affix a sticker on the building in the building entrance saying that there is an infection in so and so floor. That floor is has got restricted entry. Earlier they were sealing the entire apartment, but then that was becoming very cumbersome. As the cases eased out, the floor alone is now contained and it is restricted entry. Immediately the housekeeping staff is also informed. The housekeeping staff does not go to that floor, and people are requested to keep their garbage outside the apartment, and so that the collecting of the same is easier. The team members, that is the like how we have in Jalbahiviyar, there is a voluntary team in Palava city also. They reach out to the family of the infected person, ask for any necessities which they require in terms of provisions, groceries, and arrangements are made for that. Doorstep delivery is made. It is placed outside their door and they collect it from there. And there are a couple of people in each wing who speak to that person on a regular basis over the phone to understand whether they have any needs, whether they have any emotional requirements, whether they require any medications or they require any essentials, so that there is a person who's constantly speaking to them. And in case their relatives have to be reached out, informed, and they are not able to do because of the mobile connectivity not available, the society and its volunteers step in and they do it for them. So that is how it has been handled here. So that is good. So we have handled the cases of prevention. We have handled how preventive measures are taken, uh, uh, how people have joined together to help others
Help
in
each
need,
other.
as well
Yeah.
help each other, as well as help the people around us in terms of domestic health and all that. So
Right.
another question which I have here is the third group of audience, right? I would not say people, because all of us in the apartments have pets, right? And the pets have their own needs. Like pets have to
Right.
be taken for walks. Pets may have some medical condition. Yes, so far, medical science says that pets are not transmitters, neither they are carriers. But yes, they have their needs. They have to be taken for walks. They have to be taken. Maybe they might have some medical emergencies. How have the societies handled this?
So in Raheja, I remember we had put it out on the notice board for the pets that twice a day the caregiver of the pet can go inside the flat, and the he will not go inside as he would regularly do it. The flat owner or the person who is a pet owner, he will get the pet down, and
Okay.
they will take a walk. They will have the pet walk outside the complex instead
Okay.
of making them walk inside the complex. So
Okay.
that was something which we did, and we have very strict rules and regulations for the pet owners as well. And I think
Okay.
after 14th day, after the lockdown was eased, I think they allowed the normal things started to allow, and then they used to pick up the stuff. There are dustbins kept, so all those things
Yes.
would work as it is.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
good.
But luckily
How?
there was no emergency in
Okay.
luckily there was no
Okay.
pet emergency.
Very.
yeah. Even in Jalwai Vihar, we
Yes, sir.
made another small voluntary group of pet owners,
Okay.
right?
Very good.
So they were asked to come up with measures to take up this, how to handle this kind of thing. And I'm very happy to say that they have done a splendid job. We have not
Very good.
had any complaints, right? And till date, they have done a splendid job. The voluntary groups work wonders.
So this voluntary group will take care of the pets in case there is an infection in the family, or they would coordinate the walks. They would coordinate the needs of the
Right,
pet in
right.
terms of their
Everything. See,
morning.
we just called them a group
Okay.
of youngsters basically who
Okay.
have pets and who are aware of rights of pet owners, all that,
Yes.
because we
Yes.
didn't want a conflict.
Correct.
So we asked them to form a group and we said, you come up with, how to handle this. And they came up with their own set of rules. We said, we will step in if you need any assistance. So
Yes.
the board BOM stepped in only when they wanted certain things. Otherwise,
Yes.
we just kept out of it. And it's worked wonders.
Very good. Very good. I think the key to success in Jalbaiviar has been forming of these voluntary groups, because
That's right.
nothing was imposed, but it was discussed and volunteered and ideas pulled in together.
That's right.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's right.
Because initial stages, all of us face this issue of not just essentials for us, but also the pet food and pet medications which are not available. At least in the first
Right.
20 to 30 days, we faced our challenges in our society. So
Yeah,
these
I
things
think
became an issue.
in our society, one good thing was that we have this departmental store which is right inside the society.
Inside the
So
society.
he stocks dog food, pet food. So that was taken care. Luckily, that was taken care.
Very good. Very
Yeah,
nice.
and luckily he has his go down very nearby to Raheja. So that
Okay.
also was, and thankfully he was stocked. Otherwise,
Okay.
things would have been really nasty.
One last question before we conclude. Uh,
Sure.
Here we have the infections not really abating, but number of cases not really coming down. We have not yet, as a country, we have not yet flattened the curve. But yes, economy is opened up, businesses are opened up because of various other reasons, like good or bad. The country has to move on, and all of us have to earn our livelihood. So businesses are opening up, shops are opening up, mm, gyms and restaurants are opening up. So with that, the general thinking amongst most of us is uh, even the restrictions are easing. So we find a lot of people not wearing masks, and we find a lot of people, not maintaining social distancing. So how is that you are bringing this awareness amongst your residents that ease out, unlock has happened more because of economic reasons and not because of health reasons. So
Right.
how have you been?
See, as such, as secretary, I send out a mail every
Yes,
second day.
yes,
And the tagline is always, so wear your mask when you step out of your house, maintain physical distance, senior citizens not to come out of their house unless it is essential, and we say that if you have any symptoms, any symptoms, or your domestic help has any kind of symptoms, please contact us. We will,
Report.
yes,
Very
and
good.
that has actually worked. See, in last,
Yeah.
say, 1 week or 10 days, we have an estate staff of about 40 people. So
Okay.
till
Yes.
date, there has been only one conservancy staff who has contracted COVID. Otherwise,
Okay.
they've been tested multiple times because we have a BBMP team which is so
Yeah, same here.
cooperative. Anytime we want them, they come here and test
Very
them.
good.
We have had only one case. So that has been quite successful.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I
And
think
how the thing is right now?
more or less similar with us also. And so what we have, in fact, next week onwards, we are planning to some few women with me. We are planning
Yes.
to have some drawing competitions which talk about how to maintain social distancing, how to
That's a very good
involve
idea.
kids, because kids are everywhere, correct? You have to
Yes.
inform them, you have to educate them all the time. They have to be told that don't touch this, don't touch that. If you're
Very
touching, go wash your hands, sanitize your hands, etc.
very
So how will they do it? So certain elder kids will be probably doing up a skit. Some people will be doing a so everything we are going to organize online, and we are going to
online.
have
Yes.
these smaller campaigns
Very good.
which will keep running every week,
Yes.
10 days,
Yes.
something like that.
That's good. Sir,
Yeah.
in Jalbai Vihar is known for resident engagement. Like you have had cultural programs, frequent movie shows, you've had events happening, not just necessarily linked to an festival or anything, but
Right,
on an ongoing basis, there is always a resident engagement and involvement, some program or the other, as you know.
right.
So obviously, during the last 6 months, there has not been such things. But
Yeah,
now the festival season is happening. Festival season is around the corner. So how do you plan to conduct these events for the engagement and entertainment of the residents?
yes,
Because these
unfortunately, we
events,
have had to stop everything.
yes,
So, Ganesh, we conducted in a small way.
okay,
So, Ganesh festival, because our estate staff is very keen on that.
yes,
So, with the restrictions, we still had a small Ganesh puja.
very good.
And going forward, now Dasara, Diwali, and our own Jalwai Vihar annual day, they're
Annual
coming.
day, yes,
Yeah, we have to watch how it's going to shape up. But this year, perhaps everything will be at a very low key. I don't
Yeah.
think, under the prevailing circumstances in Bangalore, where every day there are surging infections, right?
yes,
We're not going to have big celebrations at all. But as you're
Correct.
aware, Ms. Natarajan, you know that we have a group called Ashwasan for senior
yes,
citizens in Jalbai
correct,
Vihar.
yes,
They are also doing a splendid job in giving a
very
lot
good.
of support to the senior citizens
Okay, excellent.
in
Wow.
these times.
Yeah, yeah, that
Very
reminds me. Even in Raheja, we have a group called Silver Generation, and they normally, I have seen those uncles, like uncle aunties who are probably 80, 85 years old. They would go and tell the children to wear mask. They would
oh
tell
nice,
them that if you don't wear mask, I will get infected. You know,
correct,
so that is how they are also spreading, and they are also communicating with the kids that how important it is. And sometimes it's always uh, kids who do not have their grandparents with them. They tend to listen to these
yes,
people,
yes.
right? So
There
it's
is an
it's it's a
emotional
very,
connect.
yes, it is. So it's overall, I think things are being maintained. Raheja is also inviting various doctors and having webinars on a regular basis for the residents, and informing them that this certain times, if you remember initially when the COVID-19 was flashing, it was giving a lot of symptoms, lot of new
Yes.
symptoms also started coming in. So every time if there is an update, we will conduct a webinar for the residents and keep them informed that something like this is also can be a symptom. So please be aware and spread the word of mouth, and you be doubly sure about everything.
Yes.
So yes, these
Yes.
kind of things are definitely happening.
Very good. I would also like to share that Crowd Product, which is hosting this. This is the technology behind this webinar. They have
Hmm.
reached out to a lot of resident welfare associations to take the entire celebration of festivities online. So they have created a lot of events online where it can be competitions, it can be dance programs, it can be music sessions, it can be bhajan sessions, aarti sessions, which they have taken it online, and
Hmm.
they collaborate with the residents welfare associations and custom make programs, festivals, and take it completely online, so it is safe, and
Hmm.
especially for certain set of people who have existing morbidities, or people who are in a particular age group who cannot step out. This online options can be very useful. There is a link which I would share with you where they have a demo video. You
Sure.
can have a look at it, and maybe you can use it for your RWA. But then again,
Sure.
it depends on the needs of each group.
Sure.
So I've
But
had my
something,
set of, yeah, tell me.
yeah, something in the vacation time for the children, because they are
Yes,
also fed up with only studying online, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
So
It
that
is
is
very
something like this can be definitely looked into.
yes, yes,
You can probably send me the mail and let me see how best
sure.
I can utilize it.
We'll do that. We'll do that. So I have had
Okay,
my set of questions and queries, and you
sure,
have shared your experiences, wonderful experiences. If I have missed out something, in case you would like to share something new, something more, please do share. And
sure.
yeah, so anything else you would like to add, Commodore?
Yes.
Should be
Um,
good. Yeah.
the only thing that I want to say is uh, it is a moment in which all the residents have to take part to ensure the safety of everybody in the colony. It can't be done by a committee. It can't be done by a small group. Everybody has to pitch in, and at the end of the day, each one has to look after, their family, and that's how I think we can survive these testing times.
Yes, absolutely.
True.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
And Devaki, you
and
have
I
the
would like to share. Yes, I do. So our president, Mr. Salil Saxena, who has been extremely active, and he has been a no nonsense person during this time. That okay, this is what is the decision. I'm not asking how it has to be done. So that has helped us and the community probably to keep the cases away, and certain decisions of not allowing all the maids inside, certain decisions of not allowing Amka Falana courier to get into the household immediately without sanitization. These kind of measures have definitely helped us, and
very
kudos to him that he put his foot down. That no thing, this is it. This is how it is going to be. So sometimes you require that kind of task force. So
that is true. That
Right.
is true.
that is required. I mean, of course, it's a thankless job, and you make a lot of enemies. But yes, that's fine.
That is true.
The
For the
job has to be
welfare of
done.
everybody. Yeah.
Welfare of
So
everybody. Correct.
my key takeaways from and learnings from all of you has been that one, we should have a clear plan of action, and
Yes.
especially the plan of action is steered by the board of members or the committee which handles the affairs of the RWA. And the key to success is involving everybody, involving all the residents, forming voluntary groups for specific areas of activity, like voluntary group to handle pet requirements, voluntary group to handle senior citizens, voluntary group to handle emotional requirements. That is actually it's a very good idea. I think we should emulate that. And sanitization at all levels, and helping people who are needy, who are beyond our society, like like how in Raheja they have helped the security guards, they have helped the domestic financially, as well as perhaps with other means also. So yes, I would like to thank all of you for participating in this webinar,
You're
and thanks
welcome.
for taking time, and thanks for sharing all the inputs which you have shared.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
very
us
much.
here as well.
Thank
Thank you,
you, Mr.
Commodore. Thank you,
Vikas.
Devki.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye bye. Good night. See
Bye.
you.
Good night.
Night.